We're live, climbing video number 8. How are ya? I got this nice little split for my last session climbing. It's probably been building for the last like 3 or 4 sessions, and I finally decided to do something about it. I was talking to a buddy of mine in the gym who's been climbing a lot longer than me and does like a lot of outdoor stuff. And so he sees this kind of injury quite a bit, and he told me that a lot of people will use like a popsicle stick. Obviously, I didn't have one of those, so I opted for a nail file, but it kind of does the trick. And apparently it just kind of prevents your hand from closing during the night, and then it allows the wound to kind of heal flush instead of like reopening it in the morning. And I'm putting like moisturizer in the middle. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but if anybody else knows of a way of healing stuff like this, drop it in the comments, or don't. If you want to see me in pain, that's chill too. But yeah, that's my long-winded way of saying welcome back to the channel, and yeah, let's get it cracking. So I've kind of decided to start putting like my rating of the boulder in the bottom right along with the grade. And as you could tell for this one, I gave it a 5 out of 5, which means yeah, this is probably one of my favorite climbs that I've done in a long time. I think it's kind of interesting how this climb is kind of laid out on the wall. You start on 2 crimps, and then you go to 2 kind of smaller slopers that you can kind of pinch, and then you have these 2 crimps again that I was just on, and then 2 slopers, and then a jug. I like how it's kind of sectioned like that, with like 2 and 2. So like 2 crimps, 2 slopers, 2 crimps, 2 slopers, and then a final jug. I think it just looks really clean and feels pretty sick as well. You might not be able to get a great idea of the angle in this video, but this is on the 35 degree at Kanata. Here you can see I'm just kind of piecing together the beta. Each attempt is going better. There I get super frustrated because I didn't take my time. That was my first time getting that far, and I kind of fumbled it a little bit. But you'll see here I put it all together. I figured the cross there was better instead of going up with my right, because then that made this move a lot shorter. I still had to cut feet, but it was just a lot easier to keep that right hand. And then this didn't necessarily need to be dynamic. Most people did it static. But again, I really like doing dynamic moves. I find I can stick pretty well to holds when I do stuff like that. And then, yeah, a nice little kind of dynamic move at the end as well. And just a really nice balance of dynamic moves and static moves in that climb, I thought. Yeah, really, really cool set. Going to be some cool movement around the arete on this one. I think this move up here didn't feel great. It was kind of crunchy, trying to get my right foot up. This heel hook felt really cool. Really kind of kept my body close to the wall, kept my hips in, and then yeah, a relatively easy top. Yeah, I would say moving around those 2 macros there near the top was probably the crux for me. I don't even remember what I gave that one. 3 out of 5? Yeah, 3.5. I don't remember. Big undercling vibes on this one, and they're not great. They're not quite as good as they look, and a lot of toe hooks too, which was really neat. And cool little dead point here. Kind of lay it out, and then yeah, you just kind of make your way across these slopers at the top that I always have a relatively easy time with. The sequencing was kind of weird at the top though. Like I didn't really know what to do here. I think the cross felt kind of icky, but yeah, it would have been nice to see how some other people did this one, but yeah, I guess it works for me. This is probably one of the more flowy climbs I've done in a long time. I don't know if it just maybe really suits my my body size or my style, but you'll just see like it's just so fluid the way that I make my way through this one. And some nice like high feet, kind of some awkward feet, but again, it kind of just made sense for my body. And then a really controlled dead point to the last hold there. Yeah, 5 out of 5 on that one for sure. That was a really sick boulder. So you're not really going to be able to see the start to this one, unfortunately. All of these holds have a little crimp on them. But yeah, it's kind of a crunchy start. And then, yeah, basically the rest of the climb, other than those like 3 starting holds, they're all jugs. Obviously placed at kind of weird angles, but you might not be able to see it here, but I'm going to throw in a left knee bar and then move up to this jug. And then the rest is, super juggy. Not really much to talk about here. I guess except this kind of toe hook around that side pull jug that my right foot's on to kind of help get my weight across. But yeah, that was a relatively easy orange tape, I would say. This one's really sick. Kind of some, I don't even know what you'd call these holds. They're not jugs, they're not crimps, they're not even really slopers. They're just kind of these flat holds that you can kind of pinch with your thumb a little bit. And then you move to these kind of mushroom holds at the top. And I find using a guppy, which is kind of like a reverse meat hook, on this left hold really allowed you to get out to that next one. And then you meat hook that one, then turn that into a guppy, I think. Yeah. Just some really technical ways of using your hands on this one. And then the last hold's a mega jug. But yeah. I don't know if I'm using the correct terminology. I heard someone call that a guppy once, but I don't know if that's what it's called or not. This climb looks kind of sick on video, but it felt it felt kind of shitty on the wall, if I'm being honest, especially the top. You just needed so much compression. And then this toe hook was super sketchy. Like, it doesn't really look like it on camera, but I was like so close to missing that last hold. And if I did, it would have been a really sketchy fall. So got a bit lucky there, I think. That one didn't feel great. This one too, I'm not super stoked on. I don't know. Like, I feel like I normally like climbs that maneuver around the corner like this, but this one just felt weird for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't really have anything to say about this one, to be honest. I guess you'll see kind of a cool heel hook at the end here to match on the final hold, but I didn't even realize that there was a small foot there, the red foot, amidst all those green holds. But yeah, I didn't like that one. This is going to be the first auto belay climb that will be featured on my channel. You can see there's kind of a crack there, which I'll use a little bit, but probably not to the extent that the setters had hoped. I've never climbed outside or like on cracks before, so I'm not too comfortable with it. But you can see I'm kind of testing out the waters here, seeing how it feels. So if anyone has any advice on using cracks, definitely let me know, because I have been getting a little bit more into kind of the high wall stuff. Still, it kind of scares me, but I'm trying to overcome that slowly. But yeah, I think I'm kind of breaking the beta a little bit here by not using the crack as much as was intended. And I also don't know I don't know what the rules are for using the crack. Like if I'm allowed to use this one on the left, which obviously I'm doing here. I don't know if that was intended or if it's even allowed. But yeah, it felt really good to get this one. And I find ever since I've started doing more of the big wall stuff, I find that I'm getting much more pumped, which is something that I kind of have realized that I'm missing when I'm bouldering. Like I really don't get that kind of forearm pump that I used to get. Um, and I really miss that feeling because it's really satisfying. Even though obviously it kind of limits you from climbing, for me at least, it's a really good feeling. And doing that kind of more endurance style kind of gives me that satisfaction again, which is really nice. This one's also super flowy, but you won't really be able to see the end, unfortunately. Nice high foot. You're gonna see one foot swap there, and there'll be another here in a second. But yeah, a couple really cool Gastons at the top, and yeah, it's unfortunate you can't really see that one, but because of how much you have to traverse the wall, it's hard to record the whole thing. This is another almost perfect climb, in my opinion. This crimp that I'm on here is pretty much one pad in depth. Like it's pretty much nothing when you're holding on to it. And so yeah, you gotta hit that smear on the gray wall there, and then flag out your left foot to make it as good as possible. And this last move was just really, really cruxy for me. Is this where I slip? I have one clip in here where oh no, it's not. And you can see here, I straighten out my arms a lot more before the move, and I go for it, and I get super close. And you can see how stoked I am. Even though I don't send the climb, I tried something, and it worked. And I think that's something that I need to kind of remind myself a lot more when I'm climbing, is that even if I don't get the send immediately, there's the slip I was talking about. Even if I don't send it immediately, if I try something and it gets me further, I think I'm trying to celebrate those kind of little wins a lot more. And straightening my arms on that last sloper there to go for the last hold, you could tell how much more I was able to generate from it. And yeah, I was just really, really excited when I figured out that little piece of micro beta. So yeah, they're really straight and then make a big move. It doesn't actually look that big, but when you're on the wall, especially because of how small that crimp is that I was talking about, it was just really, really far, or at least it felt far. So yeah, that was a really, really fun climb. I really don't like these holds. I was talking about in the beginning of the video and then my intro. Obviously, I was talking about the kind of split I have, the injury on my middle finger, and these holds are basically the worst thing for that because when I grab them, they basically land right on that spot in between my two first pads, and so yeah, often I can only try these climbs like once or twice per session, climbs that have these holds. But yeah, so I don't really care for this one, but I guess it's a fun top. And that come in on the middle, in the middle of that boulder where you had to kind of pull all your weight in and get really close to the wall, get really low was fun. So I would say I liked that part, but the climb overall I wasn't a huge fan of. And a bit of a funny fall at the end, so yeah. This one's just really pinchy and slopey. Again, not a huge fan of this one. But I guess kind of a cool dead point. And then, a fun heel hook. I actually kind of forgot about that. So that part was neat. And for the top here, I actually couldn't match on this sloper. For whatever reason, I don't know if my skin was bad on the day, or maybe the chalk wasn't sticking as much as normal. But so I had to bump to the top, which felt fine. I mean, it wasn't all that tricky. Yeah. Okay, so we've come to this climb, which is so sick. Just like one of the gnarliest paddle dynos that I've ever done. I have another one on my video that's actually very similar to this. It's a blue-orange, so I don't know exactly what video it's in, but you can go back and find. If you've watched my videos, you probably know the one I'm talking about. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to throw little clips in here of my progression because I think it's yeah, you can kind of see how much more I'm getting that left hand over the third hold there. Like on each attempt, I feel like I'm getting quite a bit closer. There, I got like basically all my fingers over. Yeah, that one I missed a little bit, but oh, that one was so close. You can see how frustrated I am. Yeah. So this one took me obviously a ton of attempts. Um, and yeah, so this will be the send here. Oh, actually no, I forgot. So I'll explain this a little bit. So right here on the paddle, it's really kind of hard to see, but I do actually touch my left foot on that starting blue hold, which for those of you who aren't familiar with climbing, that's considered a dab, which a lot of people would count the climb anyways, would count that as a send. But I'm particularly stingy about dabbing, so obviously I had to I had to get up and redo it, and this time you'll see I won't touch it. And yeah, so I don't know what it is for me. I can't for whatever reason look past it. If I like, it didn't help me at all either. If anything, it made it worse because that hold was super slippery. But I don't know. There's just something about getting a legitimate send that just satisfies my brain. I don't know. But yeah, bit of a long story there. But yeah, this one had some pretty cool movement. The back flag there to prevent the barn door was really, really sick. And then this last move's a little sketchy because your left foot's on complete no text, and I actually slipped off a little bit. And then you hit a kind of a cool drop knee to come in and match. But yeah, some kind of stretched out movement towards the middle of that one. And those holds were pretty flat, so pretty tricky to stick to them. But yeah, that was fun. This one was pretty cool. Really hard start. I don't really know why there was two tags on the starting foothold. I feel like it would have been just as easy to put one, but whatever. I'm not a setter. Really cool throw to this crescent, and then these pinches at the top. They look decent. On the wall, they feel so bad from this position, and you're standing on a volume that's so negative too. So throwing up the toe hook there, probably one of the sketchier moves I feel like I've done in a long time. But I loved that climb, even though it was super sketchy. Just yeah, I had a lot of fun on that one. Camera's kind of far for this one, so you can't really tell, but this one's pretty crimpy, except the hold that my right hand's on. And then you go up to this sloper that has a crimp on it as well. And just kind of some cool dead point moves, where you kind of go dynamically, but you keep a foot on the wall, and then some really delicate footwork at the end to stay close to the wall on a not great crimp. The last hold's good, but the second last hold, you really have to make space for your left hand to come in. This is super gnarly. Big throw into kind of a double press, and then you kind of crimp it out at the top. Initially, I thought I could just kind of go dynamically and jump to this volume that I'm on, but I realized that the smear felt a lot better because I was super stretched out, so I was basically only jumping using my my ankle strength. I couldn't bend my knees at all to get any power that way. But the volume's really good, so if you get to it, you're gonna stick to it for sure. And then the last hold's also a blocked crimp. So some fun variety of movement in that one. You got the dynamic move to start, and then 3 blocked crimps at the top. Okay, this is the last one of the video. Slabby problem on the comp wall at Kanata. And yeah, you probably... I don't think the video does it justice, how tricky this climb is. You'll see here I really drop my heels to get more out of that green hold. This one is the worst out of the 3 flat green holds for sure. And I don't know if you can hear the commentary, but I made a comment about how greasy they were, just because of how many people have tried the problem. That stand up was really tricky, and then coming into match with my right foot was really, really hard. Because on the one hand, you want to give yourself enough space to bring it in, but on the other hand, the further you go up this hold, the worse it gets. And then you can't really see it, but there's a tiny little green foot chip that I'm standing on with my left foot. And you really have to weight this perfectly and go super slow. And I'm almost using my left elbow there to cancel my swing. Because the hold on the other side of that volume that I'm holding there was awful. And then you go up to the jug at the end. But yeah, getting around that last volume was really tricky. I would say the stand up on the green little foot chip that I was talking about was definitely the crux for me on that one. So yeah, I guess I didn't have any climbs in that video that were unfinished. So that feels pretty good. But yeah, I don't really have anything else. Again, if you have any feedback on healing splits, I'm recording this voiceover the day after, or I guess the night after I recorded my intro, and it looks a little bit worse. So maybe what I did wasn't working. But yeah, drop some tips in the comments if you have them. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. So I'll see you in the next one. Take care.